Embassy officials began ringing the Duke of Sussex just before 3 a.m. on April 9 to tell him Prince Philip had passed away, the U.S. website TMZ reported. But after calls were not picked up, diplomats turned to Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department asking if an officer could go to Harry and Meghan's house in Montecito, California, to tell him he was urgently needed. Once there, the officer managed to raise a member of staff who woke the prince and put him in touch with an embassy official who told him of Philip's death. The account raises questions about how estranged Harry was from the rest of his family if none of them was able to contact him. TMZ reported it was the U.S. Embassy that had tried to raise Harry, 36, although it is thought more likely the UK Embassy in Washington was trying to reach him on behalf of the Foreign Office. Buckingham Palace refused to discuss the claims. But a source added, how someone is told of the passing of a loved one is not really a suitable matter for conjecture or speculation. It is private. The story emerged as Harry took a fresh swipe at his family in a bonus episode of his Apple Plus TV show yesterday, telling viewers he had learned close relatives feel shame when loved ones reveal they are suffering mental health problems. The Queen is thought to be dismayed but has vowed to maintain a dignified silence after the new dig from Prince Harry yesterday. In a conversation with actress Glenn Close, he said, as parents, as siblings, certainly from what I've learned, there's an element of shame we feel, because we're like, how could we not have seen it? How did we not know? How did you not feel comfortable enough to come to me and share that with me? But we all know when people are suffering and people are struggling, that we're all incredibly good at covering it up for those that know that we're covering it up. Palace officials declined to be drawn on the implication that members of the royal family knew Harry was suffering but turned a blind eye to it. The Queen is understood to think that silence and a focus on the official work of her family is the best way to respond after a week where the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge won plaudits for charming the public in Scotland. But others plugged into the royal circle suggested the Queen was getting to the end of her tether with her wayward grandson. Royal author Phil Dampier said, I think the Queen and Prince Charles will be dismayed by this latest outpouring from Harry and they must be wondering when this is all going to stop. The Queen has been extremely sympathetic towards Harry but her patience must be wearing thin. Another longtime royal observer, Joe Little, managing editor of Majesty magazine, said, I suppose the disappointment has changed to dismay that Harry, to whom she has been so close, feels the need to speak so publicly about these things, which clearly she feels should be dealt with inside the family and kept private. In the 94-minute TV discussion, Harry admitted he and Oprah had started planning their series, The Me You Can't See, 2 years ago, highlighting how he was already taking steps towards a life away from royal duties before he emigrated to the U.S. with Meghan, 39, and son Archie, 2, last year. Harry spoke further about the time Meghan, who is thought to be due to give birth to the couple's second child anytime soon, felt in 2019 that she wanted to die. He said he learned it was best to tell a suicidal person that they are not alone. He added, so many people are afraid of being on the receiving end of that conversation because they don't feel as though they have the right tools to be able to give the right advice, but what you're saying is, you're there. Listen, because listening and being part of that conversation is, without a doubt, the best first step you can take. Harry said the pandemic had forced people to accept the widespread need for mental health support. But he also claimed there was a direct link between climate change and the wave of mental health problems hitting the Western world. He said, when our collective well-being erodes, that affects our ability to be caretakers of ourselves, of our communities and of our planet ultimately. With kids growing up in today's world, pretty depressing, right? Depending on where you live, your home country is either on fire, it's either underwater, houses or forests are being flattened. Climate change is playing a huge part in this as well as social media. Are we supposed to accept these problems are just going to grow and grow and grow and then we're going to have to adapt to them? Or is there really a moment, a reckoning moment, post-COVID, where we go, we need to do better about stopping or allowing the things that are causing so much harm to so many of us at the source, rather than being distracted by the symptom?